Good morning, world.
Good morning.
So today we're going to talk about framing a narrative and how that affects our perception and why the narrative tells the story, I guess you could say.
Very interesting. All right, you guys, stay tuned. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. So we're not doing it's Wednesday, so we're not doing a reaction today.
Happy hump day.
But we are doing reactions Tuesdays and Thursdays now.
Yes.
Because I guess because of you guys, you seem to like the reactions, so we're doing more reactions. And I know those of you like Javier, called you out Javier, I guess I did, like when we do other stuff other than reactions. We're giving you a little bit of everything on this channel.
And you're assuming Javier is going to watch this to know what you called him out.
Of course he is. Okay. Well, because his new bride, his new wife, is the chinchilla lookalike.
Yes, indeed.
All right, you got a comment.
I do. We are never at a loss for comments when we go back to the Joyner Lucas video, but it's just so rich and chock-filled of positive comments toward Brian and I. And here's another one from Lori Gravelin, 2081. And Lori says, I'm white as Casper, and I think I understood blacks more than the black guy in this video. Totally went over their heads. Well, what did I expect from Trumpsters? Lori, one thing, you misraced Casper because Casper's not white. He is translucent. You can see right through him.
No, Casper's white in the cartoons.
In the cartoons. And understand the blacks more than the black guy in this video. It's kind of insulting to assume that you understand all blacks.
She's a racist.
You're saying that all blacks are a monolith and you understand them all better than the black guy in the video.
And I'm not a Trumpster, by the way, so Thanks for the assumption.
Yes. Anyway, there's a lot in there. I'm going to give her a heads up and let her know that her comment will be featured in this video to see if she'll chime in. Yes,
I'm glad she's one of the white liberals we talk about all the time that think that they know what black people should think.
Right. Yeah, and the thing, we got that information from Malcolm X. Beware the white liberal.
That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling and you take him for a friend.
Yep, I know.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
All right, so we've had people, and we're going to bring it up next time, send us tips. We'll call them tips, Cedric. Send us tips on either the Cash App.
Oh, tips.
Or now they're sending us tips on Venmo.
Yeah, they're donations. We're like a university or a college or your favorite nonprofit.
Well, when I go and watch people sing it in Nashville, they have a tip jar and they have Venmo on the tip jar. So if you like what you see from these performers, you can tip us. Okay. And if you tip us $40 or more, you get a hat, as what's happened with another one of our viewers.
We got to do a show on that, tipping. Oof.
I know.
Anyway.
Remember, it's not mandatory. We're not the government. We're not making you pay. Or you can just buy one of our nice hats here. Go to cedricandbrian.com and get a mug, a hat, whatever you'd like. We'd love for you to show your support by having some of our stuff also. That'd be awesome. Now,
I don't know what we're talking about. You said, come over. I got something we should talk about. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so for those of you, we're going to turn off right when I mention this because somebody called, since we listened to the Daily Wire, they called us a bunch of phobes and ists and all that. We're not, but we understand the narrative. Again, this is about the narrative. This is by one of the people from the Daily Wire. His name's Andrew Klavan. He's also a great fiction writer. I've read a number of his books. He used to work in Hollywood until they found out that he didn't toe the leftist line. And, of course, he couldn't find as much work. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
So we're going to listen to this story that's fiction, wink, wink.
So story time with Andrew.
From Andrew Klavan.
Okay.
So put on your headphones if you have them. It's story time. Then, of course, Cedric and I will be doing our commentary, our reactions to it.
Yes, we'll be stopping for those of you who get irritated by that.
Right. So now, one of the things about writing fiction is it can explain reality to you because it can tell you a story that's bigger than, that you can get off the facts on the ground right away. And even though I'm on strike and, Workers of the World Unite, as a Hollywood screenwriter, I am on strike, I'm going to tell you a fictional story now. All right, we're going to start with a fictional story. This takes place in a little made-up town that I just made up. It's called White Town. It's a majority white place. A lot of white guys there, but there's a black neighborhood, and the black neighborhood is not as nice as the rest of the town. It's kind of run down. It's got high crime, and in that area, there is one guy who kind of dominates the place. He's kind of this loudmouth punk. He's a real thug. He swaggers around, and no one knows how he makes a living. He's knocked up 3 different baby mamas without marrying them, and the white police in White Town, they suspect him of criminal activity.
This isn't fictional. Because I went to school with 3 of those guys.
He said it's a fictional story.
I'm just saying names have been changed to protect the innocent. But
there is one guy who kind of dominates the place. He's kind of this loudmouth punk. He's a real thug. He swaggers around, and no one knows how he makes a living. He's knocked up 3 different baby mamas without marrying them, and the white police in White Town, they suspect him of criminal activity, but they've never been able to get him. And this guy is a real big mouth. He really swaggers around, and he stands out on the corner playing rap music that talks about bitches and hoes, and he says, I do anything I want to them bitches and hoes, and they let me do it because I'm the man. And one day, a woman comes to town. She's been away for years, but she comes back to White Town after being away, and she sees this guy, this thug, out on the street bragging, and she goes to the white police in White Town, and she says, that man raped me. And the cops are like, oh, finally, we got something. This guy, when did this happen? She says, it was like 25 26 years ago. We were in a department store. We were in the changing room together trying on transparent lingerie. And somehow he got the idea that I was available. I don't know, I don't know why. And he raped me. And the White Town cops think, oh, God, how are we going to get him on this? I hate that uppity black man. But she doesn't even know what year it was, and it's way past the statute of limitations. It's not fair to charge a guy. But the cops want this loudmouth black guy so bad. These white cops, they want him so bad. So the chief calls up the governor, and she decides to pass a law that only lasts for 1 year. Okay, just to get this guy, because they hate this guy, because they hate this uppity black guy, for 1 year, that allows you to sue somebody if you were sexually assaulted, even if it was 30 freaking years ago. So she sues, and all the white people in White Town give her money for lawyers, and an all-white jury says, well, come on, you're in a room with this guy trying on lingerie. Not exactly rape. But look, I hate this uppity black thug. So you know what? We find him guilty of something, and he's got to pay her $5 million. Now, to be honest, I hate to be like this, but in White Town, there are a lot of racists in White Town. And they say, yeah, it's a garbage case, but they hate this uppity black guy with his rap music and his baby mamas and his talk about hoes and bitches. So yeah, we got him. See, it all depends on how you tell the story.
He's a good storyteller.
So those of you who it may have gone over your head, he wasn't talking about an uppity black guy, was he, Cedric?
No. And plus, we don't use uppity in the black culture. It's called bougie.
And it wasn't White Town. I believe it was New York City.
Yes. He did make a reference to our comment. He said that the women were trying on Casper-like lingerie or
Yeah, there you
translucent.
go. We can take these off now.
Oh, okay, we're done?
We're done with the listening. Yeah, that's the whole story. So the point of that is, of course, if you're on the left or the right, you would think this case is not fair. It's not right just because they don't like this guy that they would change the laws just so that they could have a trial and try to convict him of something.
Right.
That's not fair.
No.
Both left and right would say that. But when it comes to the actual, not uppity black man, but it might have been an orange man, actually, it seems that people on one side think it's totally fair, while the other side doesn't. So we have unity when it comes to the made-up story.
Right.
Everybody thinks it's not fair to try to go after this guy and change laws to get him.
Right.
But for some reason, we have no unity when it comes to a certain orange man.
And I completely agree. I don't know if Brian can put this up, but there's a I don't know what the statue's called.
I can put it up if Cedric sends it to me.
Lady Justice, and she has on a blindfold, and she's holding the scales. I'm sure you guys have all seen that as Brian puts it up. And what that means is that justice is blind. We don't look at you based on if you're male or female, if you're black or white. We look at what the crime was that was committed, and we judge accordingly. When people come here, they expect that, but like you're saying, it all depends on who you are and how much you're hated, where they can tip the scales one way or the other.
Yeah, and I know people out there watching who may be watching this that watch us because of our reactions. So you may be saying, well, Cedric and Brian, it's because it hasn't been fair for the black community. Therefore, we have to kind of be racist to make sure that it's fair.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to let you slide on that. What does that have to do with Orange Man? What does it have to do with race on any? None of that trial had anything to do with race. But the point he was making is that if you make it about race, all of a sudden we have a different decision.
Right.
And like what you were saying, it's supposed to be blind. It hasn't been, obviously. And but when it comes to Trump, it's not black or white. It's red or...
Yeah. Well, and there's a term that we've coined, or the right has coined, called Trump derangement syndrome. And it's gotten to the point where it's really polluted the minds of a lot of people. And like Andrew Klavan was saying, people are saying, we have to get this man at all costs, even if we make something up, even if it's fabricated. And that's going to, you've seen it in all the movies, that's going to work against them somehow, because it always does.
It always does. And if you listen, if you go on, you can go, I'll put the link to this. This is on the Daily Wire, but you can watch this on YouTube. It'll just cut off at a certain point, but this story will be on there, and you'll know Andrew Klavan is not a Trump fan. He said he voted for him because of who was running against him, but believe me, he wants anybody but Trump to win the Republican nomination because he doesn't like boorish type men who don't treat people with the respect that they deserve. And I know all you people out there that like Trump. Yes, when it came to running this country, Cedric and I, we agreed on that part of it, that yes, that was some of the best 4 years we've seen as far as running the country. And you elect somebody not because, they may say some things that you don't like. How are they going to run the country? Because look at how the country's been running now. It's all about how you frame the narrative. And if all you have to do is watch MSNBC or CNN, and you're going to get a narrative on what is going on here. And that's what half the country does. They only watch that. Or you can also then watch a Fox News, or just go on someplace like the Daily Wire, or someplace where you're going to get a different perspective. And then you can use your own brain and think about, how do these narratives differ and what makes more sense to me?
Right.
And then look at the pictures and see what you see with your own eyes and make up your mind. Don't just be locked. And I hope some of you, kept watching us that like us for the reactions, and you may not be politically aligned with us, but at least, we're not politically aligned 100%, trust me. And at least you can see different perspectives.
Right.
And that's how you can make an informed decision. If you only watch MSNBC, I'm going to tell you right now, because I watch both sides lie, but one does it where it only takes 2 seconds to fact check, and that's MSNBC. It's all falsehoods. Or they only give you part of the story. Like they may say, oh, this person was arrested and he shouldn't have been arrested. They don't have any evidence. And then what they don't tell you is that same person was arrested 6 other times for the same crime. But they leave that out of the story. So this one time, yeah, he might have been railroaded. But the 6 other times, if they let you in on that narrative, it may change your mind. But if you only hear that one bit of the story, they give you the narrative. They're not necessarily lying, right?
Well, it's
lying by omission.
It's called lying by omission.
Yeah.
You
anyways.
You didn't ask that question, so I'm not going to share it.
So our bottom line is, it's okay to watch MSNBC if you can stomach it, but watch both sides. Get your information, or just don't watch it at all. For most people that it doesn't matter in your life, I would say don't watch any of it, because if you just watch one side, you're not getting informed anyway.
Absolutely. That was a good story by Andrew Klavan. I enjoyed that.
If you guys go to this episode and go back, like I said, I'm going to put it in the link. Listen to his monologue. He does like a 2 or 3 minute monologue at the beginning. He just makes the stuff up that's It's like Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
There's enough truth in it
Yeah.
and enough absurdity that makes it hilariously real.
Yes.
So
Thank you to those of you, like Brian alluded to, for those of you who know about us because you watched our music reactions and say, hey, let me see what these guys are about. And there's a few comments, I'm sorry I don't have them in front of me now, that people have said, hey, you know what? Your reactions brought me here, but I want to check out some other stuff to see what you guys are about. And a few people said, I don't agree with you, but I'm going to watch you anyway.
because they think we're sexy.
No, they didn't say that. They didn't say that at all.
Oh, I could have sworn I read
No, you
that.
didn't see that. You read that yourself.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I wrote it.
We appreciate that. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this story that Andrew Klavan? What do you think about Lady Liberty who's blindfolded? Are the scales equal? Or is it, like Andrew Klavan alluded to, are they slighted depending on who you are, what race you belong to, what culture you belong to, what gender you belong to?
What political party?
What political party you belong to. But thank you guys for everything. We have recently crossed the 33,000 mark, and I think
Third of the way.
we're going to reach critical mass pretty soon. I know it. I'm going to speak it into existence. So make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell. And I think you guys missed this last part. If all 33,000 of you just shared this with 2 people, I'm going to say 3 because maybe 1 or 2 will say no, but share it with 3 or 4 people. 1 or 2 of them will say, you know what, let me subscribe to these guys. It doesn't
There you
take
go.
that much.
Yeah.
So do that. Thank you guys for watching us. You have one more thing you want to add?
Yeah, and I've been looking at the numbers. A lot of you watch, especially our reactions, and you don't subscribe. So the majority of people who watch those reaction videos are not subscribers, crazy enough,
Right.
as it is. So if those people would just subscribe, like
Crazy.
100,000 people who watch the Ren video, then we'd be over our mark right there.
Subscribe. Brian can't say this. I can. Help a brother out. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. Don't forget, go to any of these different playlists that we have to find other content. Come on, Cedric.